Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another lovely episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and I am envious of Jon Stewart's clean-ass fade because I haven't seen my barber in months.
I don't know how to follow that because I don't really know anything about the Green Lantern people. Anyway, I'm Colin, and I don't know. I don't know.
And I'm Demi, and for some reason, I cannot get all three Creative Differences hosts on one episode at the same time recently, despite us all being stuck in houses.
Aha!
It'd be like that.
Differences.
Welcome to another episode of Creative Differences. It is another Fancast Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and this time we let Twitter vote on what they wanted to hear, and they chose DC's Green Lantern Corps. Yes. Crazy enough, this is going to be releasing just off the heels of WB releasing their new slate for the DC movies.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring that up real quick for those of you guys who may not have seen the news. You probably have, but if you haven't, so as most people know, Wonder Woman 1984 was moved to August 14th, 2020. The Suicide Squad is for August 6th, 2021. I don't think that one was moved. The Batman has been moved from June 2021 to October 1st, 2021, which I'm stoked about because it's right before my birthday.
And the long Halloween.
Yes. Black Adam is going to be December
still
22nd,
happening?
2021. Yes. The Rock's been working out for it, getting ready. I don't think that release date changed, though. The Flash got pushed up to June 3rd, 2022.
Wow.
Now
As if
they're
that
making
movie's ever going to
jokes at
happen.
this point. Like,
As if that's ever
The
going to
Flash
happen.
got pushed up.
And yes, it got pushed up by 2
That's
months or something.
optimistic. I like it.
Yeah. And then Shazam 2 has been pushed back to November 4th, 2022. And Aquaman 2, I don't think ever got moved, and it's staying at December 16th, 2022.
Well, all right.
For all you DC fans out there who didn't catch the news. All right. But for those of you guys who aren't DC fans and don't know what the Green Lantern Corps is, it is an intergalactic peacekeeping force that use power rings. These power rings allow the Lanterns to create energy constructs of their choosing through sheer willpower. Well, for the Green Lanterns, it's sheer willpower. There are 9 Lantern Corps, each one representing a different emotion.
For those who don't know the Green Lanterns, like Colin, think of them as like space police. So they're like cops, except I'm not afraid of them.
We're going to fancast that today for the DCEU. So the rule obviously is you can't use anyone from the DCEU.
If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, head on over to YouTube because Demi, with her lovely editing skills, is going to put pictures of the lanterns and the actors that we picked in case you don't know who we're talking about, because it happens pretty often.
In case you guys happen to hear any echoing, yeah, Colin and Dallas are currently in a very empty apartment.
Yes, Colin's in the closet. I don't know if Colin or Demi's side, but Colin is in the closet.
who do you think?
Colin definitely side.
It's not the first time.
Yes, we are in the same room. The room is very empty and it's very echoey. So to get Colin away from my microphone, I put him in the closet. So you're welcome, audience. You don't have to deal with any sound issues.
Hopefully.
Except they might still have to deal with the sound issues. So really, you forced me into the closet for nothing.
Maybe.
Well, there's no echo on your end.
Aha. Also, if it makes you guys feel better, I currently look like the monsters from The Village because I had to throw a red blanket over my entire setup so I wouldn't echo off the walls. So we're all suffering here except for Demi. Demi, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go.
Perfect.
Cool. So just so you guys know, I will mostly be using the descriptions or the background histories from the New Earth, which is before New 52 universe.
Okay, cool.
So our first Green Lantern that we will be fancasting is Hal Jordan, an Air Force test pilot chosen by the Power Ring for his ability to overcome fear. He is arguably the greatest Green Lantern and the most well-known. He's also best friends with Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow.
Nice.
Who did you guys choose for Hal Jordan?
So by you
Dallas,
guys, I'm
start us
guessing.
off.
Yep, starting off with me. DC has just been like taking my Green Lanterns. My first choice was Nathan Fillion because he's already played Hal Jordan in a bunch of animated movies and he does it very well. But he's in the Suicide Squad, so now I can't pick him. So moving on. My Hal Jordan is Armie Hammer.
Yo, so is mine.
Really? That's hilarious.
Armie Hammer has been my Hal Jordan for a while.
That's awesome.
I don't know. He's got the superhero physique. I've been a fan of his since Social Network, and I just think he's a really good actor.
He is. He's a very good actor.
Yeah, so if we have to have a Hal Jordan movie, because Hal Jordan is not the Green Lantern I would choose personally,
Same.
but if we're gonna do it, I would at least be interested in watching Army Hammer play Hal Jordan. I don't really know a lot about Hal Jordan because I grew up on Jon Stewart,
Same.
but I'm down to watch an Army Hammer movie.
Yeah, like he's really good. He has range going from like Sorry to Bother You to The Social Network, Free Fire, all these things. Demi, do you watch any of the animated DC movies?
I have seen a couple of them.
Okay. There's one, I want to say Justice League War is the title, I want to say, where Hal Jordan is, I don't want to say he's douchey, but he kind of is. It's like a borderline kind of thing. And I just think
Okay.
Army Hammer could pull it off perfectly. It's the one of that GIF I sent in the group chat where he says like, "Stand back, watch the light show." He tries to punch Darkseid, and then Darkseid just punches him
W
into a wall.
Was that Hal Jordan? I just assumed it was Guy
You would think it
Gardner.
would be Guy Gardner, and it's like they gave him these like arrogant qualities, but not going Guy Gardner levels to it. So he's still funny and kind of likable, but he's kind of like a young Hal Jordan. He's best friends with Barry Allen in this one. And like he has this interaction with Batman, which I think would be hilarious because a lot of people wanted Armie Hammer to play Batman, where they're just like walking in the sewer and he's just questioning Batman about his powers. Like he thinks he's a vampire. He's like, "So what? Do you like you can't go out during the day?"
I've seen that scene.
Yeah, and Batman's like, "I'm not a vampire." He's like, "So what? You can fly?" He's like, "No, in a plane." And he's like, "Are you just some guy dressed as a bat?" And Batman just kind of smirks at him.
I saw that. I think I saw that scene after Robert Pattinson got cast as Batman because of his Twilight history.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. But I think Armie Hammer could pull all of that off wonderfully.
Yeah, Army Hammer can do serious. He can also do funny, as we saw in Sorry to Bother You, and like ridiculous.
Mhm.
We're on the same page here, Dallas.
Perfect. Well, moving on. Colin, still in
Colin,
there?
You know, sort of.
Who's your dude?
What?
Who's your dude?
So my Hal Jordan is John Krasinski. Because
Interesting.
he's John Krasinski. I don't know. People like him. He can do a lot of stuff.
I like him.
He can play a superhero. Sure, why not?
I agree with all that. I've cast him. I've used him in like 2 different superhero fan casts already.
yeah,
So I'm like,
I think you have.
yeah, this isn't one of them, but I get it. I like it.
You can see
I
it.
could definitely see it.
All right, so our next Green Lantern is John Stewart, a former sniper in the U.S. Marines and an architect who was chosen by the Guardians of the Universe to take up the Green Lantern mantle. At first, Hal Jordan objected to John due to his belligerent attitude toward authority. Dallas, who you got?
All right. My first John Stewart was Idris Elba. Idris Elba's in the Suicide Squad, so I couldn't pick him either.
Just they are all in the Suicide
think,
Squad.
yeah.
I think you just need to have a talk with James Gunn.
James Gunn was just like, "Oh, Dallas got some good ideas. I'm just gonna snatch him up from my movie." Anyway, Sterling K. Brown is my John Stewart.
Alright,
Nice.
he's cool.
He's very cool, and he's got range. He can do the like stoic, deep voice kind of authority figure, which I think John Stewart is basically from my time watching the Justice League cartoon growing up. Like he's kind of older now. He's wise. He's got some wisdom to him. He's always yelling at the Flash for being stupid. And I could see Sterling K. Brown pulling that off. I've heard that Sterling K. Brown is like a complete dork in real life, which is awesome to me. It really doesn't come through in a lot of his roles. Like he just, I don't know, you just look at his eyes and they pierce your soul. And I feel like if they were glowing green, they'd pierce even harder. And I kind of want to see it. But yeah, that's my John Stewart, Sterling K. Brown, because he's dope and I want him to be John Stewart.
Colin.
Me. So my John Stewart is Trevante Rhodes, mainly because he wants it.
He's also my John. Well, he's one of my John Stewarts. I have
I like
two.
him.
Trevante Rhodes is like my top choice for John Stewart, though. He's an amazing actor. Like, oh my gosh, Moonlight. He's basically the best part of The Predator. Yeah, I think he would be really good at it. He looks the part. I would love to see him in like a Green Lantern uniform. He would look so cool as John Stewart. I think he would be great for that.
I'm sorry, time out. I'm like really glad you said Trevante Rhodes because bringing up the Predator was one of the reasons I picked Sterling K. Brown. John Stewart isn't like the character he plays in that movie, but I love Sterling K. Brown in that movie so much. He's just hilarious. He's like hilariously kind of not evil is a strong word, but he's kind of like the military type. So he's like,
He's antagonistic.
yeah. So he's like, he has the military background that Jon Stewart has. I think he'd be great. But Trevante Rose would also
Well,
be.
Trevante Rhodes, yeah, his character also has the military background, which is kind of the point of all of their characters in that movie.
Yeah, it works for both of them.
Yeah, he's got the physique. Like Colin said, he wants to play Jon Stewart. I think I've seen edits of him as Jon Stewart.
I could see it.
Also, I would like to just see Trevante Rhodes do more stuff because I don't think I've seen him since The Predator. I think he did Bird Box. I could be wrong. I didn't see
He is
Bird
in Bird
Box.
Box.
Yeah, I didn't jump on that ship. I meant to, but I didn't. I still have time. We're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's cool.
But yeah, so I guess me and Colin both agreed on Trevante Rhodes.
Dope.
Yeah.
My other choice for Jon Stewart is John David Washington.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, most well known for BlacKkKlansman, and he's about to be in Christopher Nolan's Tenet. He was really great in BlacKkKlansman. He's amazing in that movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in Tenet. I think he'll be great in that as well. I was just one day I was like, oh yeah, like he exists. He would probably make a really good Jon Stewart.
He
Like,
exists.
yeah, I really listen. He hasn't done a lot, so like sometimes I forget that like, oh yeah, this actor like exists. Like he can like I don't see him frequently enough.
Right.
So I think he would be really good for Jon Stewart as well.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely with it.
Our next Green Lantern is Guy Gardner, a former delinquent with a troubled past who was considered by the Power Ring to be just as worthy as Hal Jordan. Guy was supposed to be Hal's successor until he got into a horrible accident and John was chosen. He finally became a Green Lantern after Hal Jordan retired. He's known for being brash and obnoxious. Dallas?
So, Guy Gardner. Okay, so far we're 3 for 3 on me picking someone and then replacing them. My first Guy Gardner is not in the DCEU. I just replaced him because his his Wikipedia page has a hate crimes section. So I
Oh
figured
no.
that's something we want to avoid. So not him.
I mean, Guy Gardner has trouble with the past, but
And that's the
not
thing,
that type of
because that
trouble.
actor, I was like, oh my God, you can be annoying. You've had an actual troubled past in your life. But then I was looking and it was like filmography, early life, hate crimes. And I'm like, wait, what? And it's not like, how on Wikipedia it's like this article is a stub. There's nothing in it. That section is not a stub. It is a, it is a filled out hate crime section. So yeah, I didn't pick that guy. But who I did pick, my second choice is Matt Damon. Because
Interesting. All right.
Matt Damon, honestly, Matt Damon is hilarious to me. And he can push the line. Like, I know he's obviously a great actor, so he can play very annoying if he needs to. But I go to like a role like Good Will Hunting when he's, the troubled past. And then he has all these, let's call them character traits, flaws, whatever you want to call them, that honestly make him pretty annoying. But, he's the protagonist and he's Hard at Hard Life and Robin Williams likes him. So, we like him. But I think he could definitely pull off the annoying guy. And I'm just so disappointed that the first guy I picked has a hate crime section on his Wikipedia because he's so much more annoying to me. But I do think Matt Damon is a better actor anyway. So,
Now, when you say annoying to you, do you mean like you don't like that other actor?
I don't actually dislike him so much, but he's annoyed me in the past in some of his roles. And like he's good at playing the annoying character.
Oh, not like he as a like person annoys you. It's just he's good at playing that.
Well, no, also he as a person annoys me sometimes with some of the stuff that he says, but that's just like, as far as why I wanted him to be Guy Gardner, it was mostly because he can do it acting wise. But yeah,
All right.
audience, let us know in the comments if you know who I'm talking about or want to find out. Hit me up on Twitter. Moving on, Colin,
It's me.
who's your Guy Gardner?
My Guy Gardner is Alan Richson.
Hey, I know that guy. He's on Titans.
I do too.
He is
I have
on
him for something
Titans.
else.
He's annoying
And
on Titans to me, so that works out.
I mean, I didn't see
I
much
love
of
him.
Titans, but I've seen him in other things, and he's great.
He's like one of my favorite characters on Titans.
Which is fair. Like, he's not Guy Gardner annoying. He annoyed me because of how hostile he was, but his character is a very hostile person, so I get it.
Is that like the main thing? Is that Guy Gardner has to be annoying?
Yes, it is. His main character trait is
Yes.
that he's
Yeah.
annoying to the rest of the Lanterns.
Oh,
Yeah. Not a great character.
well, Alan Richardson can definitely do that. So, like, yeah.
Perfect.
I do like him. I just haven't. I don't think I have him for. Do I have him for any superheroes? I don't think I do. Probably because he's in Titans.
Right, that makes sense.
But I know I put him down somewhere. I don't remember where. All right. So my guy Gardner is an actor I've been watching for a long time. His name is Josh Henderson. He's done a lot of work throughout the years. Yours, Mine, and Hour, or the 2005 version of Yours, Mine, and Hours, the first ever Step Up movie. He was on the reboot of 90210. He was in this movie called The Jerk Theory that I kind of like. I enjoyed it. He was on the remake of, or the it's not a remake, the continuation series of Dallas as John Ross Ewing and
JR.
JR, but his son.
Yes.
I love him, which is why I've been watching his work for so many years. He's also a really good singer, but his characters are just usually so like kind of douchey. I mean, except like the Jerk Theory, he's purposefully douchey because the whole idea is that his character realizes that girls like guys who are jerks, so he just starts acting like a jerk and to get the girls to like him. But in like Yours, Mine, and Ours, he's kind of the popular jerk. In Step Up, he plays Jenna Dewan's first boyfriend in the movie, and he's a jerk. So yeah, he's also well known for Desperate Housewives. And then in Dallas, he plays J.R. Ewing's son. Like, what do you expect out of him? He's gonna be a bit of a jerk. So I feel like those are, and I still love him. Can't explain why, but those are the things that like I think he can channel that type of energy and into the brash and obnoxious behavior that makes Guy Gardner.
Word.
I think Guy Gardner is also somewhat obnoxious because, like, yeah, he had a bad history with his family. And he, at the same time as Hal Jordan, the ring was like, here are the two people that are most eligible to, be worthy of this ring. It just happened that Hal Jordan was the one who was closest to the dying lantern. So
Right.
he was the one who got it. I think it's also in the comics that Guy has the potential to one day become the greatest Green Lantern that there's ever been.
Which is so interesting to me.
Yeah, which means that like you're not living up to your potential, bro.
Not at all.
Step up your game. But I think that makes a really interesting character in that sense. If you know that this character is supposed to be this extraordinary person, but when you meet them, they're not. It just means that they have to grow to that. And I think Josh Henderson would be really good for that type of role, that type of character.
I feel it.
All right. So the next character on the list is Kyle Rayner, a freelance artist who was chosen to bear the last power ring after Hal Jordan destroyed the rest of the Corps. Once the Corps reformed, he served as an honor guard, meaning he's not restricted to one sector. Most of the lanterns on this list, if not all of them, were subject to Sector 2814, which includes Earth, since most of them are, all of them are from Earth.
That makes sense.
So Dallas, who would you choose for Kyle Rayner?
So I know next to nothing about Kyle Rayner. I know he is of Mexican descent, so I went with that. My Kyle Rayner is Tyler Posey.
Oh, I love Tyler.
Same. I spent however many years watching Tyler Posey on Teen Wolf, and then I didn't really see him in a lot of other stuff. He was in Blumhouse's Truth or Dare, which, whatever. And then he was in that show Undone, which was amazing, but nobody talks about it.
It's weird. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff since Teen Wolf,
Yeah.
but nothing particularly huge. He was like in a Netflix movie. I know that he was in a YouTube animated series with Anya Chalotra. Yeah, he's done a bit of work, but just nothing that's like huge.
Yeah, he's like popping up here and there. But I would love to see him again. He was really good in Teen Wolf. And I know he can play the hero who, him being the last one after freaking Army Hammer goes and destroys all the Corps. Like, that's pretty intense and it's pretty dramatic. And I know from his time on Teen Wolf, he can handle pretty intense, dramatic things. And I would just like to see him some more. He has a nice face. He's a nice guy.
It's true.
Yeah. Colin.
It's me.
Who's your Kyle?
My Kyle is Oscar Isaac, because why not?
Did Gabby put you up to this?
Gabby's not here.
No, but she's not here, so somebody had to do it.
Gabby's not here to get super excited about that choice. She will when she finally hears this podcast, though.
I mean, like, Oscar Isaac is great. Like, what can't he do at this point?
Oscar Isaac is fantastic. Those pictures that were released from Dune, yes.
Right? Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. So excited about that movie now that I remember that it's happening.
A superhero. He deserves it.
He does deserve it. I mean, he is a superhero, but like in an animated movie for an after credit scene.
That's true.
All right, yeah.
But Oscar Isaac is amazing. So Oscar Isaac should have any role he wants if, he wants it.
I have
Hmm?
I don't.
Not, if it's appropriate.
That's the thing is that like Oscar Isaac, I don't blame him for the roles he's taken, but it's just like I've seen him play like Egyptians and Armenians, and it's just like I know Hollywood just thinks all brown people look alike, but I feel like in that movie, The Promise, about the Armenian genocide, that role probably should have went to an Armenian person.
Yeah.
That one just
Given
never.
the subject matter, yeah.
That one just never sat right with me. And that was the same year that he played the Egyptian guy in X-Men. And it's just like, let them have this.
Yeah. I'm going to make it really clear. Whenever I say that let that person have whatever role they want, I do mean if it's appropriate for them to take that role.
It's funny because like I was waiting for you to say that part because normally you say it out loud, like if it's appropriate. So I was just like, I gotta give my disclaimer.
It is now an unspoken condition to that phrase whenever I say it.
Got it.
Because y'all know how I feel. It should be appropriately cast, guys.
Sure, you can't just play any tree that you want.
Ooh.
Stop it.
All right, Demi, it's on you.
Okay. Yeah, it's on me. So I have two choices for Kyle Rayner. I used to only have one, and then I saw Bad Boys for Life.
Nice.
But the first choice is Ryan Guzman, who was on Heroes Reborn, and I like him. He's cool. I think he's currently on, oh my gosh, I think it's 911.
Yes, it is.
I want to say it's 911. Yes, because Oliver Stark is on that show. But yeah, I think he's a good actor. I really like him. I really liked him when he was on Heroes Reborn. He's also well known for The Boy Next Door, which was that J-Lo movie.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, where she was like sleeping with the guy next door or whatever while her husband was away. Yeah, I didn't see that movie.
I didn't see it either. Just the premise was always icky to me.
Yeah, he's in Everybody Wants Some, which I wanted to see and never got to, but I really wanted to. And he's in a Step Up movie.
True.
Killing it. All these Step Up people that I'm grabbing.
Right?
And he was also on Notorious, which I was a fan of the show Notorious for the one season that it was on.
All right.
Like you said, Kyle Rayner is of Mexican descent, and so is Ryan Guzman, even though he does not look it. He's pretty white passing in my opinion.
Yeah.
My more recent choice is Jacob Scipio.
I knew it.
Who is in Bad Boys for Life. Disclaimer, he is not Mexican. He is Guyanese.
This is true.
He's also English. But I just thought he was really fantastic in Bad Boys for Life. I thought he made a really good impression. So I'm like, yeah, I want to see you do other things. Here's a superhero movie.
He was dope.
He was dope. And like all of his action sequences were sick. Like,
oh yeah, he was fantastic in the action sequence.
He was so good. I've seen a couple of little comedy sketch things that him and his friends I either used to do or still do on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty funny.
Nice.
But I get the idea from the character of Kyle Rayner that Kyle's just a determined guy who can, when he puts his mind to it, he can accomplish it.
Yeah.
It can't be easy being chosen to bear the power and responsibility of what used to be an entire corps for as long as it takes to reform the corps.
Right.
Like that takes a really strong person and a lot of responsibility. And I think that Jacob could play a character who carries that there's sort of like a weight that comes with it and like an attitude. And I think he could pull that off.
I feel it. He's dope.
He is dope. He's cool. I want to see him do more. He's great. All right. So the next character on our list is Simon Baz, an engineer turned street racer and car thief who was thrown in Guantanamo Bay after stealing a van of explosives and being accused of terrorism.
Oh boy.
The power ring chose him while he was in prison and transported him out.
Yep, that's
so Dallas. That is very heavy.
Okay, so this is interesting timing. Disclaimer for everything I just said about giving roles to people who don't match the ethnicity of the character. If I were a casting director, I would obviously go for the most accurate pick that I possibly could because, we'd get people from the right backgrounds auditioning and I could pick someone who was Lebanese to play Simon Baz because he is of Lebanese descent. I am not a casting director. No one auditioned to be in my fan cast. The only Lebanese actors I know are Tony Shalhoub, who is 66, and Mia Khalifa, who I don't think would make a good Simon Baz.
You don't know she's got range.
Does she, Colin?
I mean,
are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't think I know who you guys are talking about.
I figured you wouldn't. Colin.
Yeah?
So
okay,
hold
here's
on,
the
hold on,
thing.
hold on, hold on.
When
I need
I
you to do
say
something.
no, okay. Uh-huh.
You said she got range.
Yeah.
So I need you to picture while you're in that closet that John Cena is pulling the door back and saying, "Are you sure about that?"
Here's the thing, Dallas. When I say that,
Okay,
I have never seen any of the work that she is famous for.
got it.
I've only seen her doing other things.
Got it.
So she has the range.
Have any of those other things make you think she should be a Green Lantern?
I mean, why not?
Okay, why not? Anyway, I didn't pick Mia Khalifa. Sorry to everyone who's disappointed. But I was like, who do I know who is an actor and is Muslim like Simon is? So with that long preamble, my Simon is Mahershala Ali
Hey.
Ooh.
because of all the things I said. And when I first saw Simon Bass, I thought he was black. Just
Really?
yeah, like he's dark.
He's brown.
Yeah, he's definitely brown. And I just saw a picture of like a Green Lantern with a mask and he was like pretty dark skinned. I was like, oh my God, there's a black Green Lantern
Oh,
again.
okay, I see.
And he had a gun, which I thought was weird. Like, why do you need
Yeah,
a
he's like
gun?
the
Black.
only he's the only one who uses a gun
It's like, why?
sometimes.
Listen,
You know what?
sometimes your hard light constructs aren't going to do it.
I guess.
Well, see, that's actually Colin's correct. That's actually why the character was carrying a gun for so long, was that he was afraid that his constructs would just not work, and so
You
he
got to keep
carried
that
it
thing on you.
Keep
as a backup.
that thing on you.
Yeah, that's actually why the character carried it for so long. And then I don't think he carries it anymore because he finally started believing in, having the actual willpower that he needs to actually work his ring properly.
Well, that's good. But yeah, what needs to be said about Mahershala? He's amazing. And honestly, I think he should have whatever role he wants when it's appropriate. This one is kind of appropriate.
Pretty sure that man won 2 Oscars back to back.
Right, like he's
So
great, and he's gonna be Blade, and I can't wait to see it. So before the DCEU casts him somewhere else, I'm gonna say Simon Baz. I don't really need to plead my case for Mahershala because he's dope.
Colin, who you got?
All right. My Simon Baz is Mina Masood.
Hey,
Mainly
I
because
do love
he should get
Mina.
more work.
he's so
He
dope.
should, and I totally agree.
Like, he was great in Aladdin, and I'd like to see him in more things. And I feel like he could play a good superhero.
He is
I
really
think he
dope.
has a couple of TV shows coming out
He
this
does.
year,
I saw a trailer and I was like, oh my God, it's Aladdin.
but he also shot those shows before he did Aladdin, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
Well, shout out to him.
Yeah,
Please give
he's
him more
great.
work, Hollywood.
Please give Mina more work. He's a delight
I was recently
on
watching
screen and off.
I was recently watching his Friend Like Me scene again, where he's like dancing with Will. I was like, he's so good. He's
Yeah,
just such a
his interviews with Naomi Scott were friggin' hilarious.
I like him. I like that kid. I'm rooting for him.
All right, so I have 2 Simon Bazes. Disclaimer: I'm probably about to butcher both of their names
Ooh.
Oof.
because I did not look up how to pronounce it. I meant to, I forgot. But my first choice, so as Dallas said, looking for Lebanese actors is very difficult.
Yeah.
So my first one is Deniz Akdeniz. I think I pronounced his name right. I hope so. He's of Turkish descent
Cool.
from Australia. I've just really liked a couple of the things that I've seen him do. He was in this movie that I really liked called Tomorrow When the War Began, and I really liked his character in that. Character is completely different from Simon. And he also played Aladdin, another Aladdin, here we go, on season 6 of Once Upon a Time.
Nice.
So yeah, I really like him. He was really good in Tomorrow When the War Began, and I just was like, oh yeah, this works out. I like him. He's cool. My other choice, who actually is Lebanese,
Nice.
and I have seen him in things, or I've at least seen him in one thing, is Jade Hassaneh. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. He is most well known for Shadowhunters. I think he's really good on that show. He had
Who's he play?
on Shadowhunters he plays Meliorn.
Nice.
Oh, is that the Fae who Izzy has a thing with?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is how we meet him, and he as the show goes on kind of becomes like a warrior fae, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, he was really good on that show. I, was looking for a Lebanese actor and I was like, I like you. This works for me. He would probably have to bulk up to play Simon Baz because Simon's as most superhero men are, a pretty big dude.
True.
Jade Hassaneh, I like him. He's good. And I like Simon Baz. I was reading Green Lantern comics before I went off to university, and then I had to stop because I didn't have the money to keep buying comic books. Yeah, so I was quite sad.
Makes sense.
All right, so our last Green Lantern is Jessica Cruz, a woman with severe PTSD and debilitating anxiety who inherited the crime syndicate's power ring before being recruited by the Green Lantern Corps. Jessica witnessed her friends murdered by a mobster and spent 4 years locked in her bedroom afterward. Unlike the other lanterns, her power ring forced itself on her and took control of her body until she overcame her fears. With the help of Batman.
Yeah, her story's a lot.
Literally, Jessica Cruz is my favorite Green Lantern because her story is so much.
It's so.
But I'll talk about that later.
So much.
Dallas, who'd you choose?
Jessica Cruz, like Kyle Rayner, is of Mexican descent. Fortunately, I know a bunch of actors of Mexican descent, so that wasn't hard. And also, fortunately, I also saw Bad Boys for Life, so I cast Paula Nunez, who is, what is her name? The
That's
police officer
Will
who's in
Smith's
charge,
love interest,
yes,
right?
of Ammo,
Hmm.
because she is so badass and so pretty. I was just watching the movie like, yo, I gotta cast her in something because she's so dope. And
Rita Sakata.
yes, Rita, she's so dope, and she's playing this badass cop, and then the Green Lanterns are basically just like space cops, so it's perfect. I feel like she could pull that role off amazingly.
She really like kind of draws your attention,
She sure does.
especially which is crazy because she's in a scene with freaking Will Smith, so like she bounces off of him really well.
Mhm.
For me, it's always a testament to an actor when they can play off of another actor who is really well established that well. That's how I felt about Margot Robbie with Leo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. If you can steal attention away from like somebody who is really well known, then you're doing a really good job.
Yeah, and also, she's done a lot of things that are in Spanish, so she's probably well known in other parts of the world and, among people
Yes.
in every part of the world who speak Spanish. I don't. But she's in, I think, La Reina del Sur, Queen of the South, but in Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes, I
she's,
think she is.
like, well established, just not among American audiences probably. So I think it would be cool to, see her in more things that I can understand. But yeah, she's
Oh,
dope.
she was on that show, The Purge.
She was, and I meant to watch that, and I forgot it existed, and I never saw it.
Well, what
You
do
have
you have
time.
now but time?
That's
You
true.
have time.
That's true.
Colin, who you got for Jessica Cruz?
All right. So earlier I channeled Gabby. This time I'm going to channel Demi.
Oh boy.
My
I
Jessica
know.
Cruz is Asa Gonzalez.
I knew somebody was gonna do it.
Feels
I was
like an
waiting.
easy one. Like, why not?
I mean, hey, I do love my girl Asa. I would love for her to play a superhero because she does not play a superhero in questionable in Bloodshot. So, I mean, she plays a character that is augmented in Bloodshot, but she is not herself a superhero.
I think I have her cast for another DC character at the moment.
I also have her cast as another DC character.
We'll get to that one.
I've had her cast as 2 DC characters. Remember, I had her for Catwoman. I have her for someone else too that I like more. Yeah, I love Asa. She's really good. And if you guys have listened to this podcast, you know I love Asa.
That's
So
true.
I don't think I need to talk anymore about her.
Which is funny because I don't think Colin's going to talk anymore about her. So this is pretty much like it's his pick, but it's your time to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got 2 choices on my list, so I should move on to those 2
Let's
choices.
get to yours.
So, Jessica Cruz, my favorite Green Lantern because of the few Green Lantern comics that I've read. I don't know, I was just really fascinated by the idea of this character who locked herself in her room for 4 years because she was so scared of the world outside, and she became a superhero. There's a lot of strength to be found in that. I loved that. So, Jessica Cruz is Mexican, but I've also read that she is half Honduran as well.
That is true.
First choice that I'm going to mention is Honduran Chloe Bridges, who I love. I've been watching her for years. She has done so much stuff. Most well known probably for Camp Rock 2.
All right.
Oh my gosh, Camp Rock 2, The Carrie Diaries. She was on a couple of episodes of the Charmed reboot. She was in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Wait, really?
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. Every time I see her, I just think she needs to play Angelina Jolie's daughter.
Huh, she's engaged to Adam Devine.
She is. Congrats to them. That's a recent development, like last year or something like that.
Dave.
But yeah, she's great. I've been watching her since Camp Rock 2. Actually, I've probably been watching her since before then, but I mostly remember her from Camp Rock 2. And then she just keeps popping up in stuff that I've seen throughout my life, and I always really enjoy seeing her. She was on the George Lopez show. She was on, that's right. The first thing I ever saw her on was Freddie, which was Freddie Prinze Jr.'s sitcom that he had back in 2005, 2006.
Wow, deep cut.
Yeah, super deep cut. That show only lasted like a year. She was in The Long Shots with Keke Palmer and Ice Cube.
She's also in Pretty
This
Little
girl's-
Liars, which I feel like has a fan base big enough that we should mention it.
Yeah, she was in 90210, the reboot of 90210 for a minute too. Yeah,
She's
like
been working.
she's been working since she was a teenager, and I really like her. So yeah, when I found out that she was Honduran, because I've never actually known. Like, I've always thought that she looks like, she probably isn't just white if she is white.
Right.
But I never really looked it up. And then I found her on like 25 young Latinx actors that you should be aware of or look out for or whatever.
All right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she's Honduran. Putting her on here. Didn't know that. And then my second choice is Emerald Tubia, who is most well known for Shadowhunters and probably the Hallmark movie that she did that I didn't watch. No offense to her. I love her to pieces. I don't watch Hallmark movies.
We need Gabby here for that.
Yeah. She might also be known for being married to Prince Royce, for all of those people out there who are Prince Royce fans. I love her. From the moment I saw her playing Izzy Lightwood on Shadowhunters, she is such a badass on that show. I've been wanting her to play a superhero for so long. I wanted her like for America Chavez for a while. The only thing is that now I think she's a little too old for America Chavez. But for Jessica Cruz, yeah, definitely could do it. And she's Mexican. She's half Mexican. I think she's half Mexican, half Lebanese.
She is. She could play Simon Baz.
Yeah, she could play Simon Baz. She could.
She could compete with Mia Khalifa for the role.
Yeah, she's, kind of like Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
We were talking about Simon Baz a couple seconds ago, and as I said earlier, Jade, who was one of my choices, was also on Shadowhunters with Emerald, and I think it would be really cool to watch them play off of each other in a different way, not as lovers, but as partners. And Simon and Jessica start off with a really antagonistic relationship because they don't really get along, so I think it would be really cool to watch these two actors who I know get along offset and off camera do this together in a different way. I really love her on the show. She did a lot of dramatic stuff on that show. There was like half a season, where Izzy was basically a drug addict. She's got the attitude, she's got the looks, she's got all of it. So I would love to see her play Jessica Cruz.
I like it.
She's great. I need to see her in more stuff that is in a Hallmark movie, please. All right. So those are all of our Green Lanterns, guys. Thank you guys for joining in. We did do it. Got through it all.
We got through it all. Thank you, audience, for getting through it all with us. Let us know what you think about our picks. Let us know who your choices are. Let us know of some Lebanese actors that we can start watching, looking out for. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Io, for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, even though you should all be listening on YouTube for the reason I said earlier. Thank you to Demi for editing and for picking Green Lantern in the Twitter poll, because honestly, I was not ready to do X-Men yet. I spoke too soon. Colin, you still alive?
Yeah.
Cool. Colin, thanks for, putting yourself in the closet for this podcast.
Yeah, I was in there for like 6-7 years. Another hour isn't going to kill me.
I feel it. I don't feel it.
Jesus, I was not expecting that response.
We'll get you out of there soon, buddy. Anyway.
Hopefully you never have to go back.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll probably never record in this apartment again. I don't see why we would. If you're starving for social attention because you can't see your friends, you can talk to us on the medias, on Twitter, y'all_different, on Tumblr, if you still use Tumblr. I think it might just be me, Demi, and Colin. On Tumblr, we're at Creative Differences Podcast. On Facebook, just search for Creative Differences. That one's simple.
Make sure you guys look out for our Twitter account, because we will be having a poll as to who you guys think would be the best fits for these roles, and then we will announce the winner in a week.
That is true. If you want to find me and ask me which actor has a hate crime section on their Wikipedia, you can just slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
They're going to slide into your DMs to find out who has a hate crime listing on Wikipedia? That's what they're sliding into your DMs for?
Well, I'm married. What else are they going to slide in there for?
Well, they didn't know that before they were sliding. I just feel like when people slide into your DMs, it's mostly a sexual thing.
That's true. You don't really need to DM me for that.
They could look up.
Yeah, you don't really need to DM me. You can just at me. I already gave you the at. No DMs necessary. Stay out of my DMs.
You could just turn your DMs off.
You can do
Oh, my
that?
Lord, Colin.
Yeah, you can make it so that people can message you.
Anyway, how do they get to yours?
They don't. So you can find me on Twitter at DuckMcGuck. You can slide into my DMs, but I don't know why you'd bother.
And you guys can find me at Dreamy Films on Twitter and Instagram. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes, it's been different. I'm going to get out of this hot ass blanket.
That's a mood.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
In brightest day,
in blackest night.
No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.